My name is Kyle Farrell.
And my name is Emily Revit.
And the title of our performance today is The Golden Spike, the first Transcontinental Railroad, building the path to a new national identity.
The second half of the 19th century is arguably the most dynamic time period in American history, leading to the exploration of the West and the final settlement of the West, and an urban development across the nation.
According to some, we're living through a time called the Second Industrial Revolution, which introduced the wonders of electric power and the technology that came with it.
To others, it's called the last frontier, an era which Americans pursued the final exploration of the West.
And according to some, it's called the Gilded Age, an era of great new economic prosperity, while inequalities festered under the surface.
But only one title encapsulates the true cause of such incredible growth of this time period.
The Railroad Era.
An era which produced a continental network of railroads across the nation. The turning point of this era was none other than the building of the first Transcontinental Railroad, leading to exploration of the West, encounters between immigrants and Americans, and ultimately forever changing the identity of our nation through exchanges between Eastern and Western markets.
A transcontinental railroad. Just imagine, finally, a route that connects the new discoveries of the West with the rest of the Union. Gone will be the days of trains trekking through treacherous mountains. Gone will be the days when ships have to carry cargo through Panama just to get goods from the eastern states to the West. I'm telling you, Leland Stanford, when President Lincoln approves my plan, Americans will have a better and faster way to travel and explore the West. And thanks to our government connections, new technology, and markets, we're in a better position than ever to change the identity of our nation and open new markets and massive business opportunities. The combination of me, Theodore Judah, Hopkins, Huntington, Crocker, and you, Mr. Leland Stanford, are making it a better opportunity than ever, and we can change the fate of our nation for good. I can already see a name for you investors, the Big Four. Now, I like the sound of that.
On July 1st, 1862, Congress passed and Lincoln signed the Pacific Railroad Bill and several other grants allowing financial aid and support for the construction of the two railroad companies, the Central Pacific and the Union Pacific Railroad Companies. Now, the Central Pacific could start its way and build its way across the east, while the Union Pacific Railroad could build its way across the Great Plains of America. The start of this railroad came the need for laborers, in particular Native American and Chinese laborers.
Oi, are you another one of those Chinese immigrants out to get our jobs? This is Irishman territory.
Sir, I think you have me mistaken. I'm contracted here under the Central Pacific Railroad Company. I take it you're from the Union?
Yes?
Listen, we both really are the same. Us immigrants, looking to start a new life in a new country.
I suppose you're right. I'm Joseph O'Donnell, contracted under Charles Crocker with the Union Pacific Railroad Company. And I'm here with loads of other Irish immigrants, working on the railroad mainly with other young American Civil War veterans. But I've never seen a lad like you around.
I get that a lot. I'm here contracted under the Central Pacific Railroad Company. My name is Lei Aime. I work here as a grader, building the way and clearing the path for the rail liners and line packers that come right after me. Coming here from the Canton province in China was both the best and the worst thing that could have happened to me. I was eager to make my way to California, but the horrible wages, living conditions, and impoverished life make me think that I made a horrible mistake in coming here. I just have to keep reminding myself that my life here as a laborer for the Central Pacific is leading me to a better life than I would have in China.
I've escaped a horrible famine in Ireland as well. But here I am, in a little makeshift town of Laramie, Wyoming, much like most of the towns along the construction route.
The Americans here don't want us. They can't stand to encounter us immigrants taking their jobs. I just don't get it. We Chinese pride ourselves on our hard work, many of us willing to take on the hardest, most laborious tasks here on the railroad.
Trust me, they don't want us here either. They think that us Irish laborers are inclined to spend all our wages on liquor.
Hey, at least we aren't treated like those Plains Indians. I heard that the government passed laws allowing the railroad companies to take control of all of their lands across the nation. I feel as though this isn't justified. I mean, we're slaughtering thousands upon thousands of bison here to feed the construction railroad crews.
And I've heard that in Kansas, Cheyenne Indians became so fed up with the construction of the railroad that they even attacked Union Pacific builders and ripped up track.
I hear my surveyor coming.
I'd better get back to work anyway.
Dear Mr. Stanford, today I picked up a Sears Roebuck catalog. It says here that you can get things from New York to here all the way in California. Now I have a country's worth of products at my fingertips. In fact, I just bought a gold chain from Sears Roebuck. I wish my husband Theodore got to see the completion of the project he inspired, the project that he knew would succeed. I know that you two didn't quite along as you were more in it for the money, but I want to commend you on building out his vision. Sincerely, Anna Judah, Theodore Judah's widow.
Dear Mrs. Judah, thank you, though I cannot take all the credit for myself. This project has been a massive success for the nation, and your purchase from Boston just exemplifies the way it's opened national trade. And now, some businesses are even shipping goods from Asian markets to California and then all the way to the eastern states. To be completely honest, the men and I engineered the railroad mainly for our own profit. But the Transcontinental has achieved so much more than that. Within 10 years of its completion, it's transported over $500 million worth of goods from coast to coast. I do wish your husband, Theodore, could have seen his success before he passed away. Sincerely, Mr. Leland Stanford. The first Transcontinental Railroad was a pivotal mark in the railroad era, its effects irreversible. It prompted the development of other transcontinental railroads and left a rippling effect across the nation.
It led to the exploration of a new era in engineering technology, as seen as the completion of the Northern and Southern Transcontinental Pacific Railroad lines, completed in 1883.
But its exploration also had its negatives. For example, the development of the Great American Desert was prompted by government land grants donated to the railroad companies. This drove out Native Americans from their lands and even led to more than 1,000 wars fought between Plains Indians and whites.
It led to encounters, breaking a previous sense of regionalism that previously separated and divided the nation.
And encounters between Chinese immigrants and Americans led to high racial tensions in the late 1800s, as exemplified in the Los Angeles race riots of 1871, as well as the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882.
It led to the exchange of markets between the East and the West. Not only this, but it created a transcontinental culture where books published and written in California found its way on shelves in New York.
And at the same time, the encounters and exchange led to the development of huge, unregulated corporations, which consisted of captains of industry who wanted to seek out and take control of all the monopolies, including Andrew Carnegie in the steel industry and Rockefeller in the oil industry.
The building of the Transcontinental Railroad was a pivotal mark in the era of the 19th century. This golden spike symbolizes the completion and success of such a railroad. This was manifest destiny wrought in iron.
This was two coasts united.
This was an interior open to settlement.
This was the building of the first Transcontinental Railroad.
Thank you.
Thank you.